Hey, what's going on, everyone? Just going to bring up the second test of mine about the topic. Is it better to stay in place with the Legion boss and the Titan, or is it better to move? Now, I did do my first test on the Legion boss, and we were able to get an increase with our score 3 times. And so I don't know if there's something different with the Titan, if there's different coding, or just different ways that this affects the Titan. But I figured I would go ahead and put this to the test. I'm going to play this as if, I'm trying to get a high score. So the way we can do this is pretty easy. We will use timestamps. I will try to transform right away in the beginning so we can use the second transformation basically as a timestamp. The first nuclear blast, I call it the nuclear blast from the Titan, is our actual first timestamp. The second one, again, would be our second transformation. And then the third transformations kind of get a little tricky on the timestamp because once it gets over 1 trillion, it's hard to tell what the rest of that is. So, but I think we'll get a pretty good idea on what is better, staying in place with the Titan or moving around. So I will do the Titan challenge first. And why don't we just do it by moving around and just kind of see what it does. So let's see what happens, guys. Okay, guys, so with moving around, wasn't absolutely perfect, but when the first nuclear blast hits from the Titan as it's coming out, we were roughly about 423.6. And so the first transformation, right when I hit the transformation, right when it gets to 100%, was roughly about 597.1. And then the third transformation, we had just cleared basically 1 trillion. And then, of course, our score was 1.2 trillion. So at least we have a little basis here. And let's go ahead and do a run. Of course, I will try to dodge a little bit in the beginning, just to, do a little bit of dodge the same way. But instead of during the transformation, from then on out, we will just stay in one place, and let's see what happens. Okay, guys, so here is the result from not moving versus moving. So when I was moving, the first nuclear blast from the Titan was 423.6, and by not moving was 440.7, which I'm a little surprised about. The second transformation, we were hitting about 597.1, where the second transformation was 612.7. Now, on the third transformation, we had just barely hit 1 trillion, but we did clear the 1 trillion right before the third transformation on the moving part of it. And on the non-moving, we had already been well into a trillion by not moving. So I'm going to have to say on the Titan, not moving does give you a bigger score. But I will say this though, and I don't know if there's enough testing that we can do on this, but I do in longevity on this though. In longevity, we did get more misses by moving. We did, even though it was 1.2 trillion on each one, by not moving, we had just barely hit the 1.2 trillion and ended up dying. But when we were moving, the 1.2 trillion was already established for a little while before we died. And so, me personally, I feel like moving a little bit with those blasts can trigger more misses. And, I think we'd have to do 100 tests to see if that is actually factually true. There's a ton of chance in the game. There's a ton of chances for criticals. There's a lot to this game that you would have to really put a ton of testing to it to, possibly get the right answers on that. But I've always noticed if I move a tiny bit during those blasts, now not during the transformation, but during the actual Titan blast or the nuclear blast, whatever you guys want to call it, I have always noticed that I do get a few more misses. And so at the end of this, even though not moving, we were showing an increase in between the timestamps. In longevity, though, again, we were a little bit ahead on points by doing it. So maybe not move so much, but on the blast, maybe just barely move a little bit to see if you can get those misses. That's probably how I would probably start trying to play this to see if I can get an even bigger score now. But I will have to agree, after this test, not moving during the transformation instead of going up and down, we did see an increase, guys. And so I have to be honest about it. And I just want to make sure that, I'm putting out the right results and, being fair with everybody's comments and fair with the testing as much as possible on this. But as of right now, the player stating that don't move, you'll get a bigger score. I'll have to agree with them. But at the same time, you heard what I said. During the timestamps, yes, there was an increase. But again, in longevity, with the movement, it seemed like we lasted a little bit longer with a few more misses. But again, that's going to be, a ton of testing. And again, guys, don't hesitate to go out and try this yourself. Take it a little bit further. Take my videos and take my tests and see if you can do them better, or see if you're have a better video that proves that maybe mine wasn't right, or hey, I'm all about it. Again, I read all you guys' comments. I do watch all your videos. So, don't be afraid to try something new, guys. And as I always say, just have fun.